So this is going to be the first video in a new series that I'm starting called Petros' Player Picks. I'm going to give you guys my top 5 picks for Week 17 of the NFL season, and I'm going to give you my thoughts behind them. Make sure you like and subscribe. So the first game that I'm going to be checking out for will be the Kansas City Chiefs at the Cincinnati Bengals. Kansas City -5 heading into Cincinnati. And I like Kansas City for a few different reasons. I think Kansas City is rolling right now. I think Patrick Mahomes is starting to find his groove. The defense is coming alive. It's playing better than it's ever played. Chris Jones is just a monster up front. He's having one hell of a season. I don't have the stats in front of me, but just the impact that he's making every time I'm watching the game, it's like he's just wrecking shop. He's literally wrecking shop. He's having probably the best season on that team. I mean, the guys on the offensive end we always speak about, but what Chris Jones and that defense is doing for Kansas City this year, it's made up for the times where Patrick Mahomes may not have been on his A game, or, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, they had a drop issue earlier this season. Maybe not even earlier this season. They might have had a drop. I believe Tyreek Hill had a drop 2 weeks ago at LA Chargers. Yeah, he had a drop that ended up being an interception in that game. So they're a little tricky on offense right now, but the defense is playing better than it's ever played, and you know, put your money on Kansas City rolling with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Why not? The second game I like today, the second game I like for Sunday is the Tennessee Titans hosting the Miami Dolphins. Tennessee Titans are giving up 3.5. And I like Tennessee to cover the 3.5. I think that the Tennessee Titans could easily win this game by at least 4 points. When you look at what their defense is doing, they're another team. Defense is just playing amazing. The run game is working. A.J. Brown is back. Miami has been on a win streak. I think they've won, 7 games in a row now. But who are they playing against? They're not playing against teams of the same caliber as a Tennessee. And after watching what Tennessee was able to do against San Francisco last week on Thursday night, I'm just more impressed with the Tennessee Titans because they weren't supposed to win that game. And I always give kudos. I always tip my hat to teams that win games that they're not supposed to win. And you want to roll. I want to roll with a team that wins games that they're not supposed to win. It gives me a little more confidence with them. The next game that I want to bet is the Los Angeles Rams heading into Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Rams are giving up -4.5. Now, look, I know it's not the most sexy thing. You got to win a game by at least 5 on the road. Baltimore is not an easy place to play at, but when are we going to recognize that Baltimore is just a name brand at this point? They're not playing well. They're simply not playing well. Lamar Jackson is having a down year. The secondary is in complete fucking shambles. I mean, they're just completely ridden by injuries. And, the front seven hasn't been all that. I mean, they're great at stopping the run, but people are able to get enough time to throw against them, and they're able to throw dimes against them because that secondary is just atrocious. So, give me Cooper Kupp heading into Baltimore, making plays. Whatever the Cooper Kupp stats are, I haven't looked at the player props, but go over. I mean, unless it's just something insane, unless Vegas has caught on to it, I'd go over because I'm expecting Cooper Kupp to eat against them. I'm expecting all the receivers to play. I'm expecting Stafford to have a good game against Baltimore. So I'm looking at the Rams to cover that -4.5. If I had to put a score out for that game, I'd say give me the Rams. I think the Rams score on them. I'd take the Rams 31-24. I like the Rams 31-24. Lamar can move around away from the pass rush, make a little something out of nothing, but I think he turns the ball over a little bit too. The fourth game that I like in Week 17 would be the Detroit Lions at the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is really simple for me. You got +7 on the Detroit side, and you have a Detroit team that's on the up and up. They beat Arizona. They beat the Vikings. They played several teams close this year. They've been a covering machine this year. And you got the Seattle Seahawks where they're another team that's just name brand. I mean, we have to attack these name brands. Vegas knows that fans just want to go with the old reliable or something that feels safer. You know, when you're betting the Seattle Seahawks, you just feel like, oh yeah, Seattle Seahawks at home. That's just, oh yeah, I got to take that. This isn't the Seattle Seahawks of a couple years ago, my guy. This isn't the Seattle Seahawks when they had the Legion of Boom, Legion of Doom. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't that team. This is a team that has no identity on the offensive end. They try to run the ball, but when you look at their personnel and Russell Wilson with his deep ball, they're probably a team that should be throwing the ball more. Their running back core is always hurt, and they're not even that good to begin with. And on the defensive end, they're kind of a bend, don't break team. So Detroit won't have a problem getting into the red zone area and getting onto, moving down the field. Now, will they score in the end zone? It's still Jared Goff at the end of the day. That's why I wouldn't take Detroit to win outright. I wouldn't be surprised if they won outright. But, even Vegas only has it. I mean, my bookie right now has it at +250. So my bookie's telling you they wouldn't be completely shocked if Detroit went into Seattle and won. But, is it worth sprinkling a little bit? Maybe. But I like the cover because +7, you got one team that's soaring and you got one team that's tanking. You got one team that feels like they're playing for their pride, and you got another team that is just sulking and just really pathetic. Really, this was a pathetic season by the Seattle Seahawks. And I know Russell Wilson was hurt for some games, but before he got hurt and even since he's came back, it's just been pathetic. It's been pathetic. Give me Detroit +7. I'm feeling pretty confident about that one. I like that game a lot. Lastly, we try to stay away from primetime games. This line is already moving a little bit against our favor. So get it while you can, but actually just hold off on it because this COVID, these late COVID scratches have been crazy. So just hold off on it. But right now, I like the Cleveland Browns -3.5 heading into Pittsburgh. I think this game is really, really simple. The quarterbacks aren't that great. The defenses are hot and cold. The offenses aren't super explosive. You got two good head coaches. I'd say Mike Tomlin is a good head coach, and I'd say Kevin Stefanski is a good head coach. I don't think neither of them are great head coaches. Tomlin is better than Kevin Stefanski. I say Tomlin is like a B+ head coach. I'd say Kevin Stefanski is like a B head coach. But, it really comes down to it's just two nasty teams. And one team runs the ball well, and the other team doesn't stop the run. You can pound it on them. And I think Cleveland goes into Pittsburgh and says, Baker, hand this ball off. You keep him on a leash. If they let Baker throw the ball too much and it becomes like some Baker just slinging the ball around, we're not going to win this bet. But I'm placing this bet under the assumption that the Cleveland Browns are going to roll into Pittsburgh and just say, Nick Chubb, here you go. Kareem Hunt, here you go. Felton, whoever they got back there, here you go. It really doesn't matter who they got back there because that O-line is crazy. That O-line is crazy. That O-line gives you something to work with, And I just think that they'll be able to pound it on them. Big Ben, last game in Pittsburgh, I get it. Steelers as an underdog, you don't really want to go against it. But, you guys, if you notice the trend that I'm doing, I'm attacking the teams that are just name brands, I don't care how good you were a few years ago. I don't care what your reputation is. I don't care that it's Big Ben. Whoa, Big Ben going against, little old Baker Mayfield who's struggling. I don't care. I'm just looking at at your team right now, at this moment. And at this moment, I'd like the Cleveland Browns to go into Pittsburgh and pound the ball. Just pound it on them, you know? And just take the game. Take the crowd out of it. Take the momentum. And, you know, Cleveland is playing for something. I know Pittsburgh is hypothetically playing for something. You know, they still have a chance to get into the playoffs, but they're not making the playoffs, you know. But the Cleveland Browns, they're playing for something. So I like Cleveland in this spot. So let's go over my 5 again. I like Kansas City at Cincinnati, -5. I like the Tennessee Titans hosting the Miami Dolphins, Tennessee -3.5. I like the Rams -4.5 at Baltimore. I like the Detroit Lions +7 at the Seattle Seahawks. And for my 5th and final pick, probably my favorite pick. It was my favorite pick before I started recording. Now I kind of like Detroit as my favorite pick. But Cleveland Browns -3.5 at Pittsburgh Steelers. So those are my 5. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching the video. Peace.